Good morning, or evening, or afternoon, or wherever you're watching this, or whenever I return to rewatch this. Um, Straight into it today. Got up this morning. There's another birthday in the family, so we're off to have fun. So I thought I'd get this done early. Um, this video really is about a subject that is quite close to my heart, and that is that I think this um, personal development that I'm going through, this transformational change that I'm making, can be a tricky one. It can be a tricky fish to hold sometimes. Uh, and there are a lot of, it can be some people see it as a bit of a psychological minefield as well, and really my idea, or the ideas that I'm putting forward on my videos, and the stuff particularly that I'm reading, and also the seminars that I'm watching, tend to be looking to simplify things. That is not to say that people who have psychological needs don't need that addressing, and I'm not belittling that in any way. But I do try to get some of this information and pare it down to a more understandable level, particularly for me. And this is exactly why I'm doing these videos, so that I can organize the content. So the first sort of thing I was looking at fairly recently is triggers. What triggers people, um, and what causes them to go into a flat spin, or what causes them to go in a downward spiral, so that they get into a situation where somebody or something, some event has triggered them. And I was watching a video the other day by a guy I'm very sort of fond of, and the information that he's sharing, called Kyle Cease, and he spoke about this, and it's something that I'm trying to sort of look at for myself. And it was basically, he said, he had an audience, and he said, okay, let's just talk about the things that piss us off, the things that really annoy us. So someone, you would ask from the audience, and he would say, give us some examples. So we had examples of people in queues, jumping the queue, people being lazy, people being arrogant, people being ignorant, people playing the victim, people uh, overeating or under exercising. All these sort of things came out. And he said, isn't that funny? Not one of you said murderer. Now, he said, of course you wouldn't, because you haven't got experience of that. He says, but the things that trigger us generally, in our everyday lives, he says, you've probably had some experience of it yourself. You've probably been a little bit arrogant one day, or a little bit ignorant about something the next, or you've probably jumped in the queue, or whatever. And he said, we are triggered by the things that we don't like about ourselves. And I thought that was a really interesting description of that, because I went away and I thought about it, particularly in some of my meditations that I've been doing. I've been thinking about it. And actually, he could be right. He could be onto something there. So I think if you go around, maybe today or in your working week, whatever that is, and you feel that trigger, um, try and associate it with something that you may have done yourself in the past, because I think we are all human. I've spoken about it on these videos before. We are all one. We are all connected. So therefore, there is something in that. So if you're being triggered by something, have a look and see if you're doing it a little bit yourself, or if it is something that you might have done yourself in the past. Because we like to be liked, don't we? um, the people pleasers of this world, unfortunately, only attract takers. But I think it's not essential to be liked, as Wayne Dyer said. It's not. I don't need to be liked. Um, but I think when you're in that creative space, and I've talked about this as well, when you're trying to do something new, when you're trying to achieve something different, you feel a little bit vulnerable, I think, simply because You're talking about something that maybe you've not done before. You're trying desperately not to go back to your past story where you might have failed. So it makes you feel vulnerable. And I think, I've said it before, the ego is always looking, the sun in my eye, the ego is always looking for an opportunity to nip in there and keep you separate from everyone else, or to keep you separate from perhaps the goal that you're trying to achieve. It is suspicious at worst and vicious at best. This little ego that jumps in and out of our daily lives, and it's really important, I think, to understand that. But I think basically, a very short video here, but it was really important for me to sort of look at that and think about that. I'm going to be thinking about that today. Try not to be triggered, and I'm off to have some more birthday fun. April is a good year for a good month for celebrations in our house. Not least all the Easter eggs, which I'm trying not to eat. Okay, have a great day.